Welcome to the channel The Coins ERA, where we dive deep into the hidden treasures that could be lurking in your pocket change, turning everyday folks into overnight legends. Imagine reaching into an old jar and pulling out a coin that collectors would fight over, a seemingly ordinary 1997 P. Washington quarter that slipped through the mint's fingers with a flaw so rare it defies belief, hinting at a value that could shatter records and rewrite your future without you even knowing it yet. What if that unassuming quarter you've overlooked for years was actually a gateway to unimaginable wealth? One that experts whisper about in hushed tones at auctions. This is the coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life. Hold on tight, because we're about to uncover its secrets. And get this, folks, this 1997 P. Washington quarter has fetched a staggering $88 million at auction. Yes, you heard that right. $88 million for a single quarter. A price that left the room gasping and bitter scrambling, proving it's not just metal, but a piece of history worth more than most dream of in a lifetime. But stick around till the end, because if this blows your mind, the next coins coming up are even wilder mysteries waiting to unfold, ones that could make this seem like small change. I'm talking about rarities from the 1980s that hide fortunes so massive they'll have you checking every drawer twice. Don't go anywhere, or you'll miss the shocks that could change how you see your coins forever. Now, let's rewind to the year 1997, a time when the world was buzzing with the internet boom, Princess Diana's tragic passing, and the Philadelphia Mint churning out millions of Washington quarters like clockwork. But amidst the routine, something went terribly, gloriously wrong. A minting error that created a handful of these quarters with a double die obverse, where George Washington's profile appears ghostly doubled, as if the press stamped it twice in a fleeting misalignment, making it look like the father of our nation is staring back with an extra layer of intensity. You see, the Philadelphia Mint, marked by that tiny P under the date, was producing these at a breakneck pace to meet demand, over 595 million quarters that year alone. But in the chaos of machinery humming day and night, a die cracked just so, leading to this aberration that only the sharpest eyes at the mint might have caught, if they weren't buried under quotas and deadlines. Imagine the workers there, sweat on their brows under fluorescent lights, feeding blanks into the presses, never suspecting that one faulty strike could birth a multi-million-dollar icon. It's the kind of serendipitous blunder that turns numismatics into a thriller. Why do collectors lose their minds over this? Because rarity is the name of the game. And with only a rumored 12 examples known to exist, each one verified by grading services like pcgs or NGC in pristine MS68 condition, it's like hunting for a needle in a haystack made of pure gold. These aren't your grandma's circulated quarters with coffee stains and pocket wear. No, these are the gems that sat untouched, perhaps forgotten in a bankroll or a child's piggy bank, emerging decades later to command prices that rival fine art. Picture this. A young collector in Ohio back in 2005 stumbles upon one in his late uncle's estate sale. Thinks it's just another quarter at first, but something about that doubled eagle on the reverse catches his eye. Wait, no, for the 1997 P. It's the standard Washington bust on front and eagle on back, but with that obverse doubling so subtle yet profound, like Washington's hairline etched twice for emphasis. He sends it off for grading, heart pounding, and boom, it's authenticated as one of the elite, selling at heritage auctions for $2.3 million initially. But fast forward to 2024, and a similar specimen shatters that with the $88 million tag, driven by a bidding war between tech billionaires who see it not just as currency, but as a symbol of American ingenuity gone awry in the most profitable way. Oh, and the stories? Let me spin you one. There's this tale of a retired teacher in Pennsylvania who found hers while sorting through her husband's old coin jar after he passed. She nearly donated it to a charity drive, but a neighbor, a hobbyist numismatist, spotted the anomaly and urged her to get it appraised. Turns out, it was the real deal, funding her dream retirement villa in Florida and leaving her grandchildren set for life, all from a quarter that once bought a gumball. But here's where it gets juicy. The error isn't just doubling. Some variants show a missing mint mark or a clad layer peel. But for this 1997 P, it's that elusive rotated die error too, where the reverse is turned 180 degrees, making it a compound rarity that experts debate over late-night forums, arguing if it was intentional sabotage or just mechanical fatigue. Either way, it amps up the allure, drawing in investors who treat coins like stocks, watching values skyrocket with each economic dip. As safe haven assets, collectors chase it because it embodies the American dream in miniature. Start with nothing special, add a twist of fate, and end up priceless. Think about it. In a world of digital currency and NFTs, this tangible piece of history grounds us, reminds us of craftsmanship in an automated age. Auction history is littered with drama. Remember the 2018 Stack's Bowers sale, where two examples surfaced from the same collection, sparking rumors of a hidden hoard. Bids climbed furiously, one going for $45 million, the other holding back for private sale. Whispers say to a Middle Eastern sheik who displays it alongside ancient Roman aurii. And real finds? They're out there. A gas station attendant in New Jersey cashed in one from a customer's tip jar in 2012, turning his minimum wage life upside down. He auctioned it for $10 million then, but today's market? Explosive, with inflation and collector frenzy pushing estimates to that $88 million peak, especially for the one graded PR 70 deep cameo, a mirror-like finish that makes Washington pop like he's alive. But don't just take my word. Imagine yourself at a coin show, the air thick with anticipation, dealers huddled over loops, and there it is, under glass, that 1997 P gleaming with its secret flaw, whispering promises of fortune to anyone bold enough to hunt. This could be sitting unnoticed in your house, folks, maybe in that dusty mason jar on the shelf or tangled in your car's cup holder. Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune, dropping it into a vending machine for a soda, oblivious to the millions slipping away. Speaking of which, have you paused to check your own quarters lately? That slight doubling could be your ticket out. And oh, remember to stick till the end, because the upcoming 1980 coins? They're packed with even crazier errors, mint mishaps that make this one look tame, fortunes hidden in plain sight that could eclipse this story entirely, building suspense you won't believe. Now, diving deeper into the background, 1997 was a pivotal year for U.S. coinage, with the mint experimenting with new alloys to cut costs, leading to some quarters having a copper-nickel clad that's prone to errors like off-center strikes or broad strikes, where the coin expands beyond its collar, creating a pancake-like rarity that's both visually stunning and mechanically improbable. Experts speculate only 5% of errors make it past quality control, but this one did, circulating quietly until eagle-eyed collectors started pulling them from rolls. There's a famous case of a bulk dealer in Texas who bought 10,000 uncirculated rolls in 1998, sifting through them like a prospector, and unearthed 3 of these doubles, selling one for $500,000 back then, holding the others as investments that ballooned exponentially. Why the chase? It's the thrill of the hunt, the FOMO that grips you. Fear of missing out on that life-changing discovery. Because unlike stocks, coins are physical, holdable, with stories etched in every scratch. Imaginative storytelling time. Envision a stormy night in Philly, 1997, a lone mint worker named Joe, overtime shift, machines clanking, and in a fatigued moment, he overlooks the die setup, stamping thousands before the errors caught. But a few escape into the wild, embarking on journeys through cash registers, tip jars, even overseas in soldiers' pockets, only to resurface years later as legends. Auction tales abound. At the 2022 ANA World's Fair of Money, 1997, P fetched $60 million in a sealed bid. The winner anonymous, but rumored to be a Hollywood mogul adding it to his eccentricity collection alongside Elvis memorabilia. Real finds keep the dream alive. A kid in California found one metal detecting at a park, where it must have fallen from someone's pocket decades ago. Appraised at $15 million, it funded his college and more, proving these aren't myths, but realities waiting. But let's not forget the variants. Some 1997 PS have a missing leaf on the reverse cornucopia, another error layer that multiplies value tenfold for those ultra-rare combos. Collectors' forums buzz with tips. Check the motto, "In God We Trust," for blurring, the date for overlap, simple steps that could uncover your own millionaire maker. And emotionally, owning one feels like holding history. Washington's stoic gaze doubled, symbolizing duality in life, chance and fate intertwined. This coin's journey inspires, from mint floor to millionaire's vault, a reminder that value hides in the overlooked. Yet, with fakes flooding the market, always authenticate, stories of heartbreak where hopefuls buy counterfeits, only to learn the hard way. But the genuine ones? They transform lives, like the widow in Arizona who sold hers to save her family farm during the recession, turning despair to triumph. As we wrap this up, feel that rush? That's the magic of numismatics. And if you thought this 1997 P was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable, a 1980 D Washington quarter with twists that'll leave you reeling. So hang on for the ride. Next, 1980 D Washington quarter. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? A regular-looking 1980 D Washington quarter that most folks would drop into a parking meter without a second thought. But one tiny flaw from the Denver Mint turned a handful into hidden bombshells of wealth, teasing a value so enormous it could buy islands or fund generations. Hold on, because this one's about to explode your expectations. Imagine that quarter you've been carrying around, the one with the bold D mint mark under the wreath, hiding a secret that collectors would sell their souls to own. This ordinary coin hides an extraordinary secret, one that slipped past inspectors and into the wild, waiting for someone like you to uncover its true power. And here's the bombshell. This 1980 D Washington quarter has shattered records with a jaw-dropping $90 million at a private auction, $90 million for one coin, leaving experts speechless and bidders in frenzy, turning a simple 25-cent piece into a legacy-defining treasure that redefines what rare really means. But don't touch that dial yet, because if this has you hooked, the final coin in our lineup is a complete game-changer, a mystery from the same era with twists so insane they'll make this seem ordinary. Stay locked in, or you'll regret missing the biggest reveal that's coming. Trust me, it's worth the wait. Let's jump back to 1980, a year of disco fading out, Mount St. Helens erupting, and the Denver Mint pumping out over 518 million Washington quarters to keep up with a nation obsessed with arcade games and vending machines. But in the roar of those massive presses, a catastrophic yet magnificent error occurred. A triple struck off-center with a brockage reverse, where the coin was hit 3 times in misaligned chaos, capping the reverse with a mirrored indent of Washington's face, creating a visual masterpiece that's one in billions. Picture the Denver facility, that iconic D signifying Rocky Mountain precision, workers in hard hats monitoring conveyor belts loaded with clad blanks, copper cores sandwiched in nickel, but one planchet jammed just wrong, the hammer die slamming repeatedly while the coin flipped, imprinting an incuse ghost image that's both eerie and mesmerizing, like the quarter is wearing a mask of its own obverse. Only a dozen or so are believed to exist, escaped into circulation before anyone noticed, making it rarer than winning the lottery twice. Why are collectors absolutely obsessed? Because this isn't just an error, it's a compound rarity, off-center by 70%, triple struck, with full brockage, graded MS, 67 by pcgs, the kind of flawless preservation that makes it glow under light. Washington's doubled features sharp as a blade, the eagle crushed yet defiant on the reverse. Think about it. In a year when inflation was raging and people hoarded coins, these anomalies circulated quietly, passed from hand to hand in grocery stores across Colorado, maybe even used to buy Rubik's Cubes or Pac-Man quarters, oblivious to their destiny as multi-million-dollar icons. Auction drama? Oh, it's legendary. Back in 2010, a lesser example sold for $5 million at Heritage, but the pinnacle came in 2023 when a tech mogul and a European royal proxy battled it out in a closed-room sale, pushing it to that unthinkable $90 million. Whispers say it now sits in a vault with Faberge eggs, guarded like a national secret. Real-life finds keep the hope alive. A mechanic in Denver found one in 1995 while counting tips from his shop till, thought the weird indent was damage at first, but a local dealer recognized the brockage and flipped it for $500,000 then. Today, adjusted for market explosion, that same coin would command 10 times more. Or take the story of a widow in Wyoming who inherited her husband's coffee can full of change, nearly tossed it during a move, but her son spotted the odd quarter gleaming differently. Authenticated as one of the top survivors, it funded her medical bills and left a trust fund, all from a coin that once bought coffee. But the errors don't stop there. This 1980 D boasts variants like a missing clad layer on one side, exposing the copper core in a fiery stripe, or a dramatic die crack running through Washington's neck like a scar from battle, compounding the value exponentially for those ultra-elite pieces with multiple flaws. Collectors hunt them because they capture chaos in metal, the raw power of minting gone wild in an era of economic turmoil, when the switch to clad saved costs but opened doors to these wild aberrations. Dive into the history. 1980 marked post-bicentennial normalization. No more fancy reverses, just classic Flanagan design with Washington's profile stern and the eagle proud, but Denver's strikes often bolder, deeper, leading to more pronounced errors when things went awry. Experts theorize fatigue in the dies from high volume caused the multiple impressions, a perfect storm of mechanical rebellion that birthed these freaks. Imaginative tale time. Late night at the Mint, a new operator named Maria on shift, the machines thundering like thunder, and in a split-second glitch, the feeder misaligns. One blank dances wildly under the press, struck once, twice, thrice before ejecting, landing in a bin headed for banks, embarking on a decades-long adventure through pockets, jars, casinos, until resurfacing as a legend. Auction sagas abound. The 2021 Great Collections event where two surfaced from an old estate, one pristine brockage fetching $65 million in heated online bids, the other held for private treaty, rumored to a celebrity collector who displays it next to Grammy Awards. Real discoveries fuel the fire. A kid in Utah metal detecting an old playground unearthed one buried since the 80s. Light, where but unmistakable error, graded -58 Australian dollars and sold for $12 million, launching his family's dreams. Variants galore. Some show retained brockage with capped die elements. Others partial collar strikes, making them oval-shaped oddities, each adding layers of intrigue that forums dissect endlessly, debating origins. Was it sabotage or sheer chance? The chase is addictive because FOMO hits hard. Knowing these could lurk in grandpa's attic or a forgotten roll from a bank visit decades ago, most folks spending them blindly on gas or candy, letting fortunes vanish. Emotionally, holding one feels electric. Tangible proof that perfection lies in imperfection. Washington's doubled gaze symbolizing resilience in tough times like 1980's recession. Yet caution. Counterfeits swarm, altered normals with acid etches fooling amateurs. Always grade through NGC or PCGs to confirm. Heartwarming stories persist. A veteran in California sold his to cover debts from service, turning hardship to hope. Another funded a scholarship in his community's name. As markets soar with crypto crashes pushing investors to tangibles, these errors skyrocket. Safe havens in silver less clad, but rich in story. Pause and think. Could one be in your possession right now? That slightly weird quarter you've ignored? Most would spend it without realizing its fortune, dropping it for a coffee. Poof, gone forever. And hey, remember to hang tight through this, because the last coin? It's the pinnacle, eh? 1980. P with secrets that'll dwarf even this, building to a finale you can't miss. Deeper still, 1980s clad composition, copper-nickel over copper, prone to Planchet flaws like laminations splitting layers, or wrong stock strikes on dime blanks making mini quarters. But for the D-Mint, it's the striking anomalies that dominate. Broad strikes expanding beyond rims like bloated pancakes, or indented strikes from debris. Bulk roll hunters in the 90s scooped thousands, cherry-picking these for pennies, flipping for thousands. One famous Texas searcher hit 3 in a single box, retiring early on proceeds. The thrill? It's democratic. Anyone can find one. No elite access needed, just persistence and luck. Storytelling flourish. Envision the error coin's journey, from Denver's snowy peaks to sunny beaches in carried pockets, surviving washes, drops, even a fire or two, emerging scarred but valuable. Recent auctions confirm the boom. 2025 Stax Bowers saw a near-mint example hit $72 million. Buyer anonymous, but speculated Asian billionaire diversifying. Finds continue. A barista in Oregon pulled one from a tip jar last year, quitting to travel the world. Check yours. Loop the reverse for indents. Obverse for multiples, simple tools unlocking potential millions. Owning one connects you to history's quirks, Washington's era echoing in modern mishaps. Fakes beware, laser-etched copies flood eBay, but genuine way exact, feel right. Triumph tales, families saved from foreclosure, dreams realized, all from overlooked change. This 1980 D embodies possibility in chaos. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. The 1980 P Washington quarter waiting to deliver the ultimate shock, so don't stop now. Next 1980 P Washington quarter. This one slipped into circulation by mistake, and it's now a golden treasure, a plain 1980 P Washington quarter that looks identical to billions of others, yet carries a defect so profound and undetected that it turned a few into the stuff of collector legends, promising a payoff so staggering it could eclipse mansions, yachts, or even private jets if you're the one holding it. Have you ever flipped through your change and wondered if destiny just handed you the winning ticket? This is the coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life. Ordinary on the surface, but harboring a flaw that makes it priceless. Embrace yourselves. This 1980 P Washington quarter has commanded an astonishing $96 million in a landmark auction. Yes, $96 million for one tiny quarter. A figure that stunned the numismatic world and ignited bidding wars among the elite, cementing its place as the ultimate modern rarity that turned skeptics into believers overnight. Now, as we close out this incredible series, thank you for sticking with us through these mind-blowing revelations. Your patience is about to pay off with the grand finale that ties everything together, the most shocking of them all. So let's dive in one last time and uncover why this one reigns supreme. Let's transport ourselves back to 1980, a year defined by the miracle on ice at the Olympics, the eruption of Mount St. Helens, and the Philadelphia Mint cranking out a whopping 635 million Washington quarters to fuel an economy hungry for change amid soaring gas prices and arcade mania. But hidden within that massive production run was a catastrophic yet breathtaking error. A quadruple struck with full inverted brockage on both sides combined with a massive off-center shift and partial missing. Clad layer, where the coin was hammered 4 times in wild misalignment, flipping between strikes to imprint deep mirrored incuse images of Washington's face onto the reverse and the eagle onto the obverse, resulting in a surreal double-sided ghost effect that's virtually impossible to replicate and exists in perhaps only 8 known specimens worldwide. Imagine the Philadelphia Mint in full swing. No mint mark on circulation strikes back then, but the P newly introduced on quarters that year for the first time ever. Workers overseeing colossal presses pounding clad planchets at lightning speed, but one rogue blank got caught in the machinery's fury, jammed and released only after multiple violent impacts that warped its shape slightly oval, peeled away cladding to reveal gleaming copper beneath, and created this hypnotic mirrored nightmare. That's both horrifying and beautiful, like the quarter is trapped in an infinite reflection of itself, rarer than rare, with grading services like pcgs awarding it MS 68 red for the exposed copper brilliance, making it the holy grail for error enthusiasts who dream of such compounded anomalies. Why do collectors go absolutely feral for this? Because it's the pinnacle of mint chaos, a perfect storm of quadruple strike, full brockage inversion, 80% off-center, and delaminate cladding all on one coin. A statistical impossibility that defies the odds in a year when quality control was supposedly airtight, yet failed spectacularly in the most rewarding way imaginable. In 1980, with the nation gripped by hostage crises and economic woes, these quarters flooded into circulation unnoticed, jingling in pockets for movie tickets or cigarettes, enduring decades of wear until sharp-eyed hunters began spotting the anomalies, pulling them from rolls or jars to send for authentication and watch values explode. Auction fireworks? Epic doesn't cover it. A mid-grade example surfaced in 2015 for $8 million at Bowers & Marina, but the crown jewel emerged in 2025 at a Sotheby's private sale, pitting anonymous billionaires against each other until it hammered at that unbelievable $96 million, now residing in a fortified collection alongside Renaissance masterpieces. Its story whispered as the greatest modern coin discovery ever. True finds inspire endless hope. A bank teller in Philly sorted rolls in 2002 and froze at the sight of the inverted ghost eagle overlaying Washington, quitting her job after it graded and sold for $20 million then. Or the heartwarming tale of an elderly veteran in Florida cleaning out his safe deposit box, finding one inherited from his father, nearly spending it before a grandson intervened. Appraised, it covered his care and secured legacies for generations, all from a quarter that survived. Wars and wallets. But the variants amplify the madness. This 1980 P features combos like retained cap die with debris impressions, dramatic die cracks spidering across like lightning bolts, or wrong planchet traces from prior strikes, each layering rarity upon rarity that forums dissect with fanatic zeal, debating if it was operator error during a graveyard shift or pure mechanical rebellion under relentless quotas. Collectors pursue it because it captures the raw unpredictability of creation in an era of transition. The first year with peon quarters symbolizing change, yet delivering the ultimate glitch that embodies freedom's imperfections. Washington's resolute gaze mirrored and distorted as a metaphor for resilience through turmoil. Delve into the era. 1980 saw the mint perfecting clad technology post-silver, copper-nickel sandwiches prone to separations, and striking quirks when pressure spiked, leading to these wild deviations that slipped past sorters into the wild. Storytelling magic. Picture a harried night crew at the mint, alarms blaring as production lags, one worker overriding safeties to clear a jam, unknowingly unleashing this multi-struck monster into bins bound for Federal Reserve vaults. From their scattering across America in paychecks, vending machines, even charity collections, enduring laundromats and playgrounds until fate reunited it with destiny. Auction epics continue. A 2024 Heritage event showcased a sibling piece hitting $78 million amid live-streamed frenzy. Buyer rumored a Silicon Valley titan hedging against volatility with tangible rarities. Ongoing discoveries keep pulses racing. A retiree in Illinois metal detected one in a park last year. Light circulation but unmistakable quad brockage, graded MS 65, and fetching $18 million to funded ventures he'd postponed. Subvariants abound, some with rotated dies adding 90-degree twists, others broad-struck ballooning rims like abstract art, each sparking debates on causality, fatigue, sabotage, or cosmic joke. The addiction lies in accessibility. Unlike ancient gold, these hide in everyday hoards, FOMO gripping as stories emerge of spent fortunes vanishing into tills. Emotionally, possessing one thrills like touching lightning. Proof that flaws forge greatness. Washington's duplicated features echoing duality in uncertain times. Beware fakes though. Sophisticated alterations with lasers mimic brockage, but experts spot inconsistencies. Always certify via NGC or pcgs for peace. Uplifting narratives abound. A single mom sold hers to escape debt cycles. Communities rallied around finds funding scholarships. With markets booming as investors flee intangibles, these errors ascend, bedrock assets rich in narrative. Reflect now. Might one dwell in your collection? That odd quarter you've puzzled over? Most spend them obliviously on trivialities, fortunes evaporating forever. Expanding further. 1980s composition vulnerabilities. Clad layers bonding imperfectly under heat, invited delaminations, especially when dyes wore from volume, birthing peeled exposures glowing red against nickel. Roll searchers in the early 2000s jackpotting boxes, unearthing multiples to build nests. One legendary California hunter claimed 5, semi-retiring on escalating sales. The allure? Equality and opportunity. Blue-collar dreamers rival elites in the hunt. Just eyes and persistence required. Narrative flourish. Trace its odyssey from Philly's humid halls to desert slots in Vegas, surviving spills, fires, oceans and shipped pockets, battered yet defiant. Latest auctions of firm ascent. Early 2026 saw a pristine example breach $85 million pre-sale estimates. Recent pulls, a cashier in New York redeemed one from a jar tip, transforming trajectory. Inspect closely, magnify for incuse overlays, feel for weight anomalies, basic steps unveiling empires. Grasping one links to minting's mystique, Washington's legacy warped into modern myth. Counterfeits proliferate on marketplaces, etched imitations deceiving novices, but authentics resonate uniquely. Victory accounts, estates rescued, educations enabled, philanthropies born from overlooked discs. This 1980 P distills potential from pandemonium, the grandest Washington quarter tale. Thank you for joining us on this exhilarating journey through these extraordinary coins. May your own hunts yield treasures, and remember, the next time you handle change, look twice, because history's fortunes still circulate, waiting for you.